They told you to look at the sky for signs, but no one told you the real sign would appear in your own hand. If the crescent moon is in the palm of your hand, what does that mean? It means something ancient is awakening within you, a signal not of chaos but of clarity, a quiet shift not on the outside but deep within. 2025 will not bring the storm, it will bring the silence that reveals who you truly are. This video is not a prediction, it is a preparation. Across ancient Shaolin teachings, Taoist wisdom, and timeless principles of inner mastery, we see a pattern. Every few decades, the world enters a phase not of collapse, but of calling. This is that moment. In the next few minutes, you'll hear 10 changes that may already be starting within you. Changes that monks have trained for, that sages have whispered about, but that modern life often silences. These are not theories, they are lived experiences, subtle transformations seen in breath, discipline, attention, and energy. Most people will overlook the signs, but if you stay present, you will see the pattern, you will feel the shift, you will not just survive 2025, you will awaken in it. Stay with me until the end. Each step will take you deeper into yourself and closer to the truth. You are not here by accident. The path is opening. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom lights the modern path. Subscribe now and walk this journey with awareness. There comes a moment when the music you once danced to starts to feel loud and hollow. The noise you once called life begins to echo, and in that moment, silence calls, not with force but with depth. In Shaolin, silence is not emptiness, it is instruction. It reveals what noise hides. When the mind is young in its training, it runs towards stimulation. It wants the next message, the next scroll, the next sound. But when the mind begins to mature, it starts to recognize something rare, the power of stillness. You may find yourself stepping away from crowded rooms without knowing why, leaving conversations that once excited you, letting go of voices that offer opinions but not peace. This is not loneliness, this is alignment. Distraction is not just what you watch or hear. It is anything that pulls you away from your own center. In 2025, many will feel tired, but they will think they need more stimulation to feel alive. You will feel the same tiredness, but you will know that the answer is stillness. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. In silence, you begin to hear your breath, your heartbeat, the thoughts beneath the thoughts. You will begin to crave spaces without noise, not to escape the world, but to return to yourself. And in those moments, you will learn more than in 100 books. The world will not understand at first, but that's because they think silence is nothing. You are starting to sense that it is everything. Most people run from the morning as if it were a punishment. They wake late, rush to routines, and chase minutes as if time was slipping away. But time is not the enemy. Time is quiet. It moves patiently. What steals your life is not time, but the scattering of your attention. In ancient traditions, especially within Shaolin, the warrior rises before the sun, not to do more but to be more present. The early hours are not for performance, they are for protection. The world is still quiet, and the mind has not yet been pulled in 100 directions. This is not about productivity, it is about presence. As you deepen on the path, you will notice something shift. You will stop asking, how can I fit more into my day, and begin to ask, how can I bring more presence into each moment? This is the beginning of mastery. The truth is, you don't lose time, you leak it. Every time your attention is pulled away by distraction, by noise, by unconscious habits, you trade depth for surface. And over time, life starts to feel shallow. But attention is sacred. It is your true currency. Where it flows, life grows. In 2025, something will whisper within you, guard this moment, not in fear, but in reverence. You will pause before reaching for your phone. You will feel the urge to sit with your breath. You will sense that the task is not to speed up, but to slow down and arrive fully. When attention is guarded like a flame, even a single hour can become a temple, and the day no longer feels like something to survive, but something to inhabit, moment by moment, breath by breath. There is a gap between what happens and how you choose to meet it. Most people never see that space. They live in reaction fast, automatic, emotional. But reaction is not strength. It is a sign of an untrained mind. Shaolin teaches, when the mind is still, the spirit can see clearly. But when the mind is agitated, even truth becomes distorted. As your awareness deepens in 2025, the things that once triggered you will begin to reveal their hidden purpose, not to wound you, but to train you. A sharp word from another will no longer pull you into argument. A delay, a failure, a disappointment, these will become mirrors showing you where your energy still leaks, and slowly you will stop responding with anger, blame, or frustration. Instead, you will pause, you will breathe, you will choose. This is the path of the inner warrior, not to suppress emotion, but to master its direction. Fire is powerful, but without control, it burns. Emotion is energy. If it flows unconsciously, it destroys peace. But when guided with intention, it becomes insight. Discipline does not mean becoming cold or detached. It means learning the art of the gap. That tiny space between the spark and the flame, between the impulse and the action. In that space, choice is born. The world may still provoke you. People may still misunderstand you, but you will no longer be pulled off center so easily. You'll learn to remain calm in the middle of chaos, not because life is easier, but because you are clearer. And when that happens, your energy will no longer be spilled on every passing moment. It will become focused, sharpened, whole. And that is when true power begins. Pain is a doorway most people try to avoid, but those who walk the path of awareness begin to see it differently, not as punishment but as invitation. In the beginning, pain feels like a thief. It takes comfort, it takes control, but slowly, through discipline and stillness, a deeper truth is revealed. Pain is also a messenger. It arrives with purpose. It shakes you not to destroy, but to wake you from sleep. In Shaolin teachings, every wound is treated as a gate, a place where resistance meets surrender, a chance to go deeper. You begin to see that the most difficult moments of your life were not random. They were initiations. The lost relationships, the disappointments, the times your plans collapsed. These were not failures. They were flames that burned away illusion. At first you ask, why me? But eventually something shifts. The question becomes, what now? What is this moment trying to reveal? What strength must rise in me now? This shift is quiet. It doesn't announce itself, but one day you'll feel it. In the middle of sorrow, a silence will come, a strange kind of peace. Not because the pain is gone, but because you are no longer afraid of it. Pain humbles the ego. It softens pride. It forces presence. And if you allow it, it will point you toward the one place you've been avoiding, your own depth. The warrior does not seek suffering, but when it comes, he bows to it, knowing that each wound, if faced with courage, becomes a teacher, and every scar becomes a reminder not of what hurt you, but of what shaped you. Complexity is often mistaken for strength. More possessions, more opinions, more activity, these are praised in the world. But on the path of mastery, the direction is different. It is not about adding, it is about letting go. In Shaolin, simplicity is not a style. It is a discipline, a deliberate choice to remove what is not essential, so what is true can rise. The more you carry, the heavier your steps. The mind cluttered with desires, the home filled with distractions, the heart weighed down by unfinished thoughts. This is not freedom, it is quiet exhaustion. As your awareness sharpens, you begin to feel it. The urge to subtract, to clear the room, not decorate it, to say less but mean more, to focus not on having everything but needing less. Simplicity brings space, and space brings clarity. A bowl is useful not because of its shape, but because of its emptiness. In the same way, your life becomes powerful not because of what fills it, but because of what you've released. You'll start to see the beauty in silence, the depth in a single breath, the richness of doing one thing fully, no longer pulled in every direction. Your energy returns home. Simplicity does not mean lack. It means alignment. It is the cutting away of noise, so truth can speak. It is the refusal to be owned by what you own. In a world drowning in excess, simplicity will become your shield, not as retreat, but as strength. You will move with less and feel more alive than ever. And in that quiet, uncluttered space, something rare will awaken. The ability to see clearly, feel deeply, and act with precision. This is not emptiness, it is power. There is a quiet exhaustion that comes from constantly trying to be seen, to be impressive, to be approved. In a world that rewards performance, many wear masks so well, they forget what their real face looks like. But on the path of discipline, something begins to shift. You no longer chase applause, you begin to search for alignment. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the true path is not about appearance but essence. The way you move, breathe, speak, all must come from within, not from the need to be noticed. At first it feels unfamiliar, the silence of not being watched, the stillness of not trying to prove anything. But soon, that silence becomes a sanctuary. You begin to notice how often your actions were shaped by image, the way you dressed, the things you said, even the dreams you chased. They were often echoes of what others expected. But the deeper you go, the less you need to be seen, and the more you long to be real. You stop asking, how do I look, and begin asking, who am I when no one is looking? This is the return to self. The outer world starts to shrink, not because it loses value, but because it no longer defines you. The real growth is inward, subtle, steady, rooted. You don't need the stage anymore. You don't need the spotlight. What matters is how you stand when alone, how honest your breath feels, how steady your presence is. When performance fades, becoming begins, and what you become, calm, centered, grounded, will never need an audience. It will speak for itself through your actions, your choices, and your silence. There is something ancient hiding in your breath, something you were born with yet quickly forgot. In the rush of daily life, breathing becomes background, shallow, unnoticed, automatic, but the breath was never meant to be forgotten. It is the first rhythm of life, the first anchor of awareness. Shaolin monks say the breath is the bridge between body and mind, between reaction and response, between the world and the self. On the path of mastery, you begin to return to this bridge, not just in moments of struggle, but in every moment. You no longer treat the breath as a reflex, but as a ritual. You wake in the morning and listen, not to your phone, but to your lungs. You walk and breathe with intention, feeling the ground beneath your feet. You begin to sense that every inhale is a reminder, I am alive. Every exhale a release. I do not need to hold everything. Breath becomes a sanctuary. In chaos, it is calm. In confusion, it is clarity. In sorrow, it is softness. Through breath, you train the mind. You slow the heart. You bring the scattered pieces of attention back to one place, this moment. No tool is more accessible. No teaching more ancient. And yet so few honor it. In 2025, the world will offer more noise, more speed, more distraction. But you will return to the breath, not to escape the world, but to meet it fully, without being consumed. This is not just breathing, it is remembering. With each conscious inhale, you return to presence. With each exhale, you release the weight you were never meant to carry. And in that quiet rhythm, you begin to live, not faster, but deeper. The mind is always reaching forward, chasing what comes next. It wants results, rewards, recognition. But on the inner path, one truth becomes clear. You are not here to control the outcome. You are here to give your full effort without attachment. Shaolin discipline is not about winning. It is about showing up fully, regardless of the result. The outcome may change, but the effort that is yours to master. Control is a quiet illusion. No matter how tightly you plan, the world will move in its own rhythm. But discipline, your breath, your posture, your attention, this is the ground you can stand on. You begin to feel this shift. The constant pressure to succeed fades. In its place, a deeper peace arrives. A sense that walking the path well is more important than reaching any destination. You no longer ask, what will I get from this? You begin to ask, am I doing it with presence, with integrity, with care? When you train, you train. When you speak, you speak. When you rest, you rest. Not because of what it might lead to, but because the act itself deserves your full attention. Ancient texts remind us, let go of the fruit, return to the root, meaning stop grasping for results and sink into the process. Results may come or not, but the root, your effort, your clarity, your discipline will nourish you either way. This is where freedom lives, not in outcomes, but in the steadiness of your steps, not in promises, but in practice. And when you finally release the need to control everything, something beautiful happens. You find yourself grounded in the only place that was ever real, this breath, this action, this moment. There is a habit in the modern world to run from discomfort and chase distraction. When pain rises, many turn to pleasure as a shield. Entertainment, indulgence, noise. But pleasure that numbs is not peace. It only delays the lesson. On the path of inner mastery, you no longer run. You sit, you breathe, you begin to train, not to escape life, but to meet it fully. The ancient disciplines of the body and mind are not punishments, they are invitations. Stretching, walking, rising early, moving with intention, these become sacred acts, not for show, not for status, but because they strengthen something deeper than muscle, your attention. In Shaolin tradition, the temple is not only a place of worship, it is a place of repetition, step after step, breath after breath. Simple movements, done with full presence, become gateways to something vast. You begin to feel it. When you train, the mind becomes quiet, the emotions settle, the body becomes honest. There is nowhere to hide and nothing to pretend. This is why training becomes a refuge, not because it's easy, but because it's real. You will feel the difference. The old you trained to fix something, the new you trains to feel something, not to run from pain, but to move through it, not to achieve, but to awaken. Every repetition becomes a reminder, I am here, I am steady, I am willing. And slowly, your daily rituals become your temple. Not built of stone, but of discipline. Not filled with noise, but with breath. You no longer need escape. You have returned to the ground beneath your feet. And in the simple act of showing up for yourself again and again, you find the strength that no distraction could ever offer. Since ancient times, the crescent moon has been watched, studied, revered. People look to the sky for signs, cycles, omens, divine messages. But symbols are only valuable when they reflect something deeper. Not the stars above, but the spirit within. The crescent is not a final shape. It is a becoming, a sliver of light, slowly returning to fullness. It reminds us growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, hidden, incomplete, but still in motion. You begin to see it clearly. The moon you've been watching was never just out there. It was a reflection, a mirror of your own becoming. The light you admired has always lived within, waiting for you to notice. In Shaolin and Taoist thought, nature is not separate from the self. The moon, the river, the mountain, all are teachers. The crescent moon in particular holds a sacred truth. Even in darkness, something is forming. Even when only part of you feels alive, the whole is still unfolding. You no longer chase symbols. You feel their meaning inside your own breath. The upward path, the return to center, the slow rebuilding of inner light. It's not mythology, it's your life. And when you look at your own hand, steady, grounded, real, you know the wisdom you were seeking, the guidance you longed for has always been with you. You are not waiting for light to arrive. You are remembering that you are made of it. The crescent is not a message of lack. It is a reminder of potential, of patience, of the quiet power of those who continue, even when not yet complete. You are not broken, you are becoming. And the moment you stop searching outside, the mirror clears, the light returns, the path begins. The journey ahead is not written in the stars. It is shaped by how you rise, how you breathe, how you choose to meet each moment. 2025 will come and go, but what stays with you is the awareness you cultivate. These 10 changes are not distant predictions. They are quiet invitations to slow down, to listen, to simplify, to return. Stillness is not for the chosen few, it's for the willing. Attention is not a gift, it's a practice. Discipline is not control, it's devotion. The crescent moon, so often gazed at with wonder, is not asking to be solved. It is reminding you your path, your light, your strength have always been in your own hands. Let this be more than a message. Let it become a way of living. Walk gently, breathe fully, train with intention. And remember, transformation does not arrive in a single moment. It grows quietly through presence. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this teaching spoke to your spirit, support the journey, like the video, and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire. Until next time, stay rooted, stay aware, and stay true.